We should take this opportunity very seriously, as Krishna is the same as his words. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the 26 qualities of a pure devotee are given. Amongst one of them is full surrenderance to Krishna. Surrendering is nothing but accepting Krishna's words without hesitation and without utmost faith.
Oh, wait a minute. Read that a little slower. Go ahead.
Surrendering is nothing but accepting Krishna's word without hesitation and with utmost faith. Thus, all pure devotees are in association with Krishna by following his words and chanting his names. And then there was a second assignment, which is...
Okay, wait a minute. Can you summarize now simply what is meant by Krishna as absolute?
So what is meant by Krishna as absolute is that Krishna and his words are no different.
That's one.
Yeah.
Anything else?
And then
Krishna and his name.
Yeah, Krishna and his name.
Krishna and his prasadam.
Prasadam, and like anything that comes from him.
Krishna and his deity.
Deities, and also like...
Krishna and devotional service for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, absolute means that there is no difference between Krishna and whatever is in relationship to him. That's why you can worship Shalagram, a rock, because it has an eternal relationship to him. You can worship Tulsi Devi because she's eternally related to Krishna. And the deity, there's no difference between Krishna and the deity of Krishna, if it's a bona fide deity. And here it says, this word you quoted 251, Karmajan Buddhiyukta hi phalam tyakva manisena janmabandha vinirmukta padam gajanti namayam. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. So, this is an introduction to absoluteness. Why? Well, because everything belongs to Krishna, right? So, if you use everything in the service of Krishna, it regains its spiritual aspect. When we use the same thing for our own sense gratification, you no longer see its spiritual aspect. So, when it's used in Krishna's service, according to 424, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmaragno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva, Gantavya, Brahma, what is it, Brahma Karma?
Madinaha.
Yeah. So 424 says that when you offer something to Krishna, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavya, Brahma Karma Samadhina, then what you offer, the person that offers, the ceremony by which it's offered, the result, everything becomes spiritual. Because Krishna is absolute. Just like, in a sense, fire is absolute. Whatever touches the fire, what happens to it? It burns. You might be the nicest person in the world, kindest person in the world. You put your hand in the fire, you're going to get burnt. Doesn't matter, you're a nice person or a bad person, it'll burn. In that sense, it's absolute. In the same way, anything that comes in contact with Krishna becomes purified. Just like when Krishna touched Kubja. You know who Kubja is? She was a hunchback. It means that she had a big hump on her back. And usually, people that are hunchbacks are usually not very pretty. They're usually very ugly. And they usually have bad character. Maybe not all, but in general. So Kubja was very lusty for Krishna. So Krishna, of course, is not interested in lusty behavior. But because she was attracted to him, Krishna blessed her by straightening out her back and make her a beautiful lady. You see. So, because she came in contact with Krishna. So immediately she became purified. Just like you make contact with the fire, immediately you get burned. So Krishna is absolute. Whatever comes in contact with him becomes purified. Even Sisupala, he's such a demon. He was so envious of Krishna. So Krishna cut his head off, and what happened to him? He merged into Krishna's body. He became purified of his envy. So that's what it means by absolute. Absolute means whatever touches it becomes purified, and whatever's in relationship with the absolute truth becomes purified. So if you sit down and hear Bhagavad Gita, you will become purified. That's why we should hear every day. And if you engage in the service of the deity, you'll become purified. If you chant Hare Krishna, you'll become purified. Because all these things are in relationship to Krishna. Okay, any other questions? Arush.
I did the last week homework too.
Okay, let me hear. Say what the homework is.
I did half of it. Explain Krishna is everything, but everything is not Krishna.
Good.
Krishna is every atom, but every atom is not Krishna, because every atom cannot act like Krishna. Like Krishna dances with the gopis and created us and the universe, but no atom can do this.
Oh, wait a minute. Read that last sentence slowly and more clearly so I can hear.
But no atom can do this.
No, read the whole sentence.
That was
Read the last two sentences.
okay. Krishna is every atom, but every atom is not Krishna, because every atom cannot act like Krishna. Like Krishna dances with the gopis and created us and the universe, but no atom can do this.
Okay, he danced with the gopis, we can't do that. And he created the universe, we can't do that. Right? And what was the homework again? Say that, what was the homework?
Explain Krishna is everything, but everything is not Krishna.
Okay, very good. Yes, everything is made of Krishna's energies, right? We're also one of Krishna's energies. Which energy are we of Krishna? Huh? Marginal energy. We're marginal. Marginal means you can go either this way or that way. You can either go toward Krishna or you can go away from Krishna. It's marginal, right? You're on the margin. It's like you have a page, there's a margin, right? So if you go this way, you go off the page. If you go that way, you go into the page. So we're his marginal energy. Then there's his internal energy, represented by Srimati Radharani. And then there's his external energy, represented by Maya Devi, or Durga. Some people say, especially North Indians, they'll say, oh, Radharani is coming from our Mata Durga Devi. So they have it backwards. Durga Devi is a partial expansion of Srimati Radharani. All the wives of Krishna in Dwarka are expansions of Radharani, plenary expansions. All the Lakshmis are partial plenary expansions of Radharani. And Durga is partial expansion of Srimati Radharani. Yeah.
A friend of mine referred to Devi Bhagavatam. Is there something?
Yes, Devi Bhagavatam. See, there are 18 Puranas. 6 are in the mode of goodness, 6 are in the mode of passions, 6 are in the mode of ignorance. This Devi Bhagavat is in the mode of ignorance. So in the Devi Bhagavat, it presents Devi as being the source of everything in the material world. Well, actually, that is true. But it's just in the material world. It has nothing to do with the spirit. She has nothing to do with the spiritual world. So, she's a superintendent of the material world. Superintendent meaning superintendent of the prison house. She's a warden. Yeah. What is it? Oh, you just raised your hand? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Are you raising your hand?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What? Put it here.
Why didn't Radha marry Krishna?
Some people say she did, but actually, no. So there are two types of relationships. is called Swikara and Pratikara. The Swikara is a relationship of marriage with Krishna, like the wives of Krishna in Dwarka, and Pratikara is when there's no, like Radharani is not married to Krishna, but she is the eternal consort of Krishna. She actually has a husband, Radharani. His name is Abhimanyu. Right? But she thoroughly loves Krishna. So do gopis. All the gopis are married. Most of the gopis are married, but still, they love Krishna. So, that thing, you know, if somebody's married and they're running around with somebody else, is very bad in the material world. But the material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So, such a thing exists in the spiritual world, but it's not perverted. If you were in the class last night, I explained the difference between love and lust. And the love of the gopis for Krishna is pure love. There's no sense gratification involved. The gopis think that everything belongs to Krishna, including their body. Therefore, they don't approach Krishna for sense gratification. They approach Krishna only to give him pleasure. So they dress nicely, they sing nicely, they make very nice food offerings, they have nice flower arrangements in their hair, they make nice flower arrangements for Krishna, they sew for Krishna, they dance for Krishna, they do everything to please Krishna. There's no sense gratification involved. Whereas in the material world, let's say you see a movie star, so she dresses really nicely. Why? For sense gratification. Why do girls wear mini skirts? Do you know why they wear mini skirts? Why? Yes. Yeah, exactly. They're advertising themselves for sense gratification. Why do devotee women wear nice saris and they cover their hair? Because they're not advertising themselves for sense gratification. They're coming in front of Krishna for his pleasure, to see them nicely dressed.
Yashomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Gopi Paranadhana Madana Manohara Gopi Paranadhana Madana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidana Amala Harina Mami Avilasa Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Bora Vamsi Badana Suvasa Prajajana Palana Surakula Nasana Prajajana Palana Surakula Nasana Nanda Godana Rakuala Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala Yamunatachara Gopi Basanahara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natabara Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natabara Bhakti Vinoda Shraya Bhakti Vinoda Shraya Yashomati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Jayo Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe Jayo Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jayo Sita Ram Jayo Sita Ram Jayo Sita Ram Jayo Lakshman Hanuman. Jayo Jagannatha Jayo Jagannatha Jayo Baladeva Jayo Subhadra. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. So I think we'll end now, unless there are any more questions. But generally, like I said, now we understand why sometimes people wear mini skirts. But actually, Prabhupada instructed that when we come to the temple, we should always be dressed nicely, if possible, in dhoti, kurta, and sari. And women should always have their hair covered in the temple. It's become sort of a habit in many places in North India, women cover their hair, but in South India, women don't cover their hair. It's like sort of part of the, not all women, but a lot of them just don't cover their hair. And then you see all the movie stars in Bollywood, they never cover their hair, right? And sort of has been like caught on that, you don't cover your hair. But actually, in the temple, Prabhupada always insisted that the ladies cover their hair. Okay, so now we'll stop and continue again in a few minutes, the next program. Yes? No, marginal simply means you can go either way. You can go toward Maya or you can go toward Krishna. That's what it means. You're not stuck to always be marginal. It depends on your desire. If you desire to go to Krishna, Krishna will help you. If you desire to go away from Krishna, Krishna will help you also to go away. So why? Because you're not a robot. Krishna didn't make you and me to be robots. Robots can't love. They can say I love, but they don't. There's no meaning to it, right? So love is based on a personal choice, freedom. Right? You're not forced. So that means we're in a marginal position. We can go either toward Maya or we can go toward Krishna. See, most people, because of bad influence in their life, even though they want to come to Krishna, they don't come. Because there's some serious karma from previous life that's holding them back. Yamaraj is not letting them go. But if they desire to surrender to Krishna, then Krishna will help them. But sometimes their previous lives' sins are so grave that Yamaraj is holding on to them. It's holding them back. But that can be broken if they actually take shelter of bona fide devotees. And the way to purify that recalcitrant attitude, recalcitrant means, obstinate attitude. I'm not going to surrender under any circumstances. I'll even come to classes, I'll listen, but I'm not going to surrender, right? So there are people like that. But that can be broken by regular hearing and chanting. If you regularly hear the class, because eventually something will be said by Prabhupada in his purports that shocks you out of your ignorance. But it requires, patient hearing and hearing with humility. So there are four things. There's humility, and there is performing devotional service, associating respectfully with other devotees, and regular hearing. These four things will lead a person eventually to break that obstinacy of not wanting to surrender. But it can take time. It doesn't happen right away because we've been in the material world for so long. The whole idea of surrendering to God, when in every species we were in, we didn't surrender to God. So it's very difficult to break that, but it's possible by this regular hearing. Hearing is the most important thing, and then repeating. Okay, so, and then there's a verse like that that says, let's take a look at that verse, 11th chapter, where it says, Arjuna said, Stani Rishikesha Tava Pakirtya Jagat Prahishyat Anurajyate Cha Rakshamsi Bitani Diso Dravani Sarve Namasyanti Chasita Sangaha. Arjuna said, O master of the senses, Rishikesha, right? Hishika Isha. The world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. So in the purport it says, Arjuna,
What verse is it?
This is 11th chapter, 36th verse. Arjuna, after hearing from Krishna about the outcome of the battle of Kurukshetra, became enlightened. And as a great devotee and friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said that everything done by Krishna is quite fit. Arjuna confirmed that Krishna is the maintainer and the object of worship for the devotees and the destroyer of the undesirables, meaning the demons. His actions are equally good for all. Arjuna understood here that when the battle of Kurukshetra was being concluded, in outer space, there were present many demigods, siddhas, and other intelligentsia of the higher planets, and they were observing the fight because Krishna was present there. When Arjuna saw the universal form of the Lord, the demigods took pleasure in it. But others, who were demons and atheists, could not stand it when the Lord was praised. Out of the natural fear of the devastating form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they fled. Krishna's treatment of devotees and the atheists is praised by Arjuna. In all cases, the devotee glorifies the Lord because he knows that whatever he does is good for all. So, this is one verse where it explains that by hearing, one becomes attached to Krishna. But there's another verse also in the 10th chapter that says, let's see. One second. Okay, I'm sorry, 13th chapter, verse 26. 13th chapter, verse 26. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. So here are two verses, 11:36 and 13:26. Both of them say that by hearing, one can become free of the entire material entanglement. And Prabhupada says in the last line of the purport to 13:26, although the common man is often not as capable as so-called philosophers, faithful hearing from an authoritative person will help one transcend this material existence and go back to Godhead, back to home. So this faithful hearing, steady and faithful hearing. Faithful, you have faith in what you're hearing. You have faith that Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's words. You have faith that the speaker is actually following Krishna consciousness faithfully. So by faithful hearing from an authoritative person, one transcends this material existence and goes back to Godhead, back to home. That's how powerful this hearing about Krishna is. Yeah.
Prabhuji, this is from last week class,
Yeah.
but still some clarification. We taught about Krishna is in everything, but not everything is in Krishna. But not everything is Krishna. So the 9.4th verse, if you can, Prabhuji, explain a little more. It says, by me, in my unmanifested form.
Unmanifested means Paramatma.
This entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. But
all beings are in me means everything's in his Virat Rupa form, universal form. Everything in the material world is contained within the Virat Rupa. Nothing, in other words, nothing is independent of Krishna.
Actually, the clarification is more, I need it, but I am not in them. But
well, that means that he's independent. He's not conditioned like we are.
Yes. But Krishna is in everything, right?
Yes, but that doesn't mean he's conditioned by the laws of material nature. Okay. When he says, I am not in them, that means that he's not like us, even though he's here. Just like Prabhupada used the example of the manager of the prison. He goes into the prison every day, but he's not a prisoner. He can go in and out.
Yes.
Right? So Krishna is like that. He's not a prisoner. Even though he's inside the prison a lot, he's in everyone's heart in the material world, but he's not a prisoner. Just like the warden is not a prisoner, although he's in the prison every day. And Krishna says, Matstani Sarvabhutani, the third line of this verse, 9.4, is very significant. What does that say? Matstani Sarvabhutani. All living beings are in me, right? That means everything depends on Krishna's energy. and nothing is independent of Krishna. So everything is situated in Krishna's energy as Brahma Jyoti. Right? Everything is contained in Krishna, that's Virat Rupa. Krishna is present in everything as Paramatma. Everything is expanded from Krishna as Mahavishnu. Everything is absorbed back into Krishna as Mahavishnu. And you get the idea how comprehensive this is. Nothing, never are we separated from Krishna. We can think we are, just like a crazy man thinks, I am Donald Trump. You know, they say, what's your name? Donald Trump. I'm president of the United States. But he's crazy, right? It's not true. But he thinks like that, out of illusion. So we can think that we're independent of Krishna, but it's not a fact. And how do we know? Well, Krishna will appear before us as death. Then we realize we were never independent of Krishna. Even though we don't want to die, he'd say, okay, you're finished. Don't even pack a toothbrush. Nothing can come with you. Haribol. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi.